gonna happen as we get this rolling. There we go, fix that. Ooh, and we haven't actually had horizontal spawns on Neotropicana here so far. So let's do this. To the bottom left hand side, our blue Terran is the GSL champion INnoVation. Isn't it kind of just insane that the GSL champion is just like, yeah, you know what, I'll come play on some new maps and stuff. Yeah, sure. Why not? You know? It's kind of crazy, isn't it? What an absolute god. We were talking about him earlier, but has just been winning so much this year. Really has been on point as of late, but in an online event, there's a lot of different possibilities and bits and pieces. Alright, so, jumping into game number 1 of this. INnoVation to the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player. He's going up against our red Zerg. To the bottom right-hand side, it is Nerchio. So going into game number 1 of this best of 3. Looking to see what's going to happen here in this series. A Reaper on the way out from INnoVation in the early stages as well. As we're just going to be seeing a command center dropping down too. So setting up here, nothing too crazy in the very early stages. So hatch gas pool going to be coming down. Gas pool hatch coming down from Nerchio in the early stages of the CVTs. So setting on up into this, looking to see how things are going to go in game number 1. Yeah, sorry for the silence there, guys. Getting told we're being too loud today. Sorry, obviously we're getting a little bit too excitable. Apparently the games are just too good. Too good. Alright. Just setting up into this first one then. Overlord coming up towards the top side. Zergling coming across towards the left. I'm just going to be seeing a couple of queens continue to come out as the first Reaper comes in from INnoVation. Looking to start doing a little bit of scouting here. Drone getting caught and kind of pushed away. And again, this Reaper then just going to be coming back towards the top side to do a little bit more. This Reaper is going to, again, just be in a bit of a frustration here while Nerchio. Don't know why he doesn't have anything down the low ground, actually. Both his queens are in the main base, which is a little bit of a strange one, so a little bit awkward there. A couple of Hellions on the way from INnoVation again. I'm just going to be seeing the starport starting to build. Going set to go. Tech Lab on the way up from INnoVation too. Continue to build on into this, and a few more Zerglings just on the way out to set up in these early stages. Link speed coming on in, and again this Reaper just going to be moving on over. Bit of a grenade. We're not going to see a drone getting picked up. As drone gets picked up, the Reaper going to hop on down to the low ground. And again, just going to be waiting to see what's going to happen next. More Hellions in towards the center. And some Zerglings just going to be looking to see what they can do. It's not a lot, really. I guess Link Speed about to kick in, which makes it a bit more awkward for these Hellions. A couple from the other side, and the Hellion very nearly getting taken down there. So Hellion nearly going down, and ooh, it actually will go down. The second Hellion too. INnoVation pulls it back. Going into an armory at the moment, looking to head in towards a bit of a Hellbat attack here in the next few moments. Going into a cloak behind his initial Viking as well, which is obviously just intending to try and clean out some of these overlords as a third hatchery comes up to the top side. And these Zerglings, again from Nerchio, just setting up over to the left. Hellions just sat here on the natural. So again, some Hellions just sat here waiting to see what's going to happen. Depot's coming up, just begin to wall off across the front of this natural as well. It's a bit of a weird natural to wall with the double ramp. Obviously you have the ramp from the top side, the ramp from the bottom. You know, you can't just kind of wall one of them and just leave the other, so he's just going to roll straight across, which actually makes quite a lot of sense, I suppose. Doesn't have maybe the kind of extra defense that you would usually expect from the high ground. And some Lings going to split themselves away. Obviously these guns end up into the main base though, to the top left side are in a little bit of trouble. Nerchio's just been building up into a big attack anyways for a long time though. He's just been massing up Zerglings, only on 24 drones, and right now he comes on in, and a lot of his movement up towards the top side was really just to catch some of the Hellions out of position, and now he's going to strike into the natural expansion. Hellions are dropping left, right, and center. And we'll be seeing the SCVs continue to go down. 7 workers killed already, and more Lings being made Nerchio trying to pick up a quick win against INnoVation here on Neo Tropicana. Is going to see those Hellions continue to pull away. The Link is going to come around, going to get that surround. Going to be just going to come in, trying to do a bit more. Obviously, the armory is in play though, so he can make Hellbats, which would generally suggest that this is going to be something which he can hold on. There's just so many Zerglings at the moment. Nerchio finally going back into more workers. With 15 workers having been killed here, he's currently at 25 workers to the 23. Army supplies are looking to be evening out, and you're going to see those Zerglings going for the wraparound. A couple of Hellions going down, another Hellbat or two going down as well. And Banshee just going to be overhead and cleaning up another couple of units. So again, Nerchio actually did quite a lot here. I may not seem like he killed, I mean, he did kill a lot, right? I mean, he lost, okay, a lot of Zerglings, but he killed 15 workers, multiple depots. He really slowed INnoVation down to the point where he was able to make a lot of his own drones. His drone count's looking good, but the army supply, I guess, is the issue, right? There's currently no army left on the map for Nerchio here. INnoVation has those 5 Hellbats up, a Banshee on the map, the Vikings obviously moving around and picking up a whole bunch of Overlords. It's actually on 3 kills already. It's going to go into, is that all Overlords? Yes, it is. That's his 4th Overlord kill of the game already. And now another Overlord going to be taking shots here. The Banshee's already come in. It's actually picked up 8 kills in terms of defending. Now it's picking up some drones as well. And obviously the more damage that gets done like this, the worse it becomes for Nerchio, who again really is just lacking army. And the more he has to rebuild drones or build drones to get into a good economic position in general, the longer it takes for him to get into an army that can really fight here. As you're going to be seeing again, the Spine Crawler just going to pull up towards the upper side. I'm just going to burrow next to that spawn. Third base taken here by Nerchio. Obviously INnoVation not thinking about that just yet. He's actually, one thing he is delayed on very much so is the idea of further production. No third CC, no extra factories to continue his mech players, plus 1 mech weapons has finished. And the second mech weapon upgrade coming through now on the armory. Going to start pushing across over to the right hand side, getting set up and ready to go. And looking to do a bit more damage. Again, a couple of refineries just coming on up. INnoVation setting up on the natural expansion. Another depot coming down. Just again, filling the hole in that. Hellbats and Cyclone's going to push in from the top side and just going to be seen again these units pushing forwards. Roaches and Queens going to be looking to see what else is going on. Just going to be seeing the Roaches continue to take some damage. So Roaches continue to take some damage right now, and we're going to be seeing the Cyclones as well. I mean, there's just maybe a bit too much, and I think Nerchio, well, he did do quite a lot in the first game with all of those Zerglings. Barely even a month ago that we hit 20,000. Kind of insane. Kind of insane. So just sat up at he hadn't towards 22,000. So obviously check that out if you have interest in keeping up to date, finding the stream a bit more easily when we're live and so on. Of course, if you're really enjoying the stream, plenty of ways for you guys to support if you'd like to help keep me casting StarCraft on a regular daily basis. You guys know how. Let's talk about this game. Catalyst, one of the standard maps here of this event. Last map, Neo Tropicana by Ezael, by the way. I haven't been mentioning the map maker's name so often today. Maybe we should start doing that once again. Catalyst is the third map by -0, I believe. It's in the finalists. I think it's the 3 maps he's got in there. A very successful Team Liquid map contest for him. He's the maker of Anomaly, Abiogenesis, and and Catalyst. Yeah, that was correct. For a moment I thought the actual map we're casting right now was one I was the least informed on, but no. So this is the second time we've seen this in the event. We saw it the other day. We didn't really see much on it, I don't think. I think this was like an Optimus versus Gumiho game or something with like proxy Rax Maraud. It was something like that, you know. We didn't really get to see a very long game on it, even though it is pretty much one of the most standard maps, I think, of even the standard maps, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We'll talk about the map a bit more in a moment. To the top left hand side from Euronics Gaming, we have our blue Zerg player Nerchio. He's going to be going up against the red Terran to the lower right hand side, INnoVation. So just want to show you guys a little bit of the map. Obviously the main base is fairly standard over here. Not really too much crazy about it at all. Not much crazy about it at all, actually. Like, main base, very standard. Setback, mineral line. Yeah, pretty nice. No real way for Reapers or anything to get in towards the main. You know, from this sort of side or anything. Obviously, you have to just go through the natural. The natural's pretty secluded as well. Pretty safe. Setback as well. Main to natural, pretty standard. Fairly normal choke in. couple of ramps before you get to it, so there's no high ground to lead straight up into the natural, but there is a little bit further forwards. You can move across to a third base, which is fairly standard as well. And yeah, nice narrow areas to defend in. Obviously you have that, once you take a third, you have to defend from here or potentially from here. But it's not super quick for the pros, for a Zerg, for example, against a Terran, to rotate from attacking in here to then rotate and attack here instead of the entire army. It does take a little while, not forever, but it's much easier to rotate back from the defender's point of view. Moving forwards from there, you're generally probably not going to push over to the right-hand side with the expansions. I imagine maybe a forward base could be taken, maybe take bottom left. I guess you could take this base over here. Maybe you do take this one rather than this one over here. Kind of depends how the game's going a little bit, I guess. It's an interesting one. It's interesting. I've gotta say it. I got told that saying the word interesting is a way to basically say you don't really know what to say about it. But it is just very standard, there's not really anything crazy. And we haven't really seen many games on to see how the army movements play out, etc. But INnoVation doesn't look as though he's going to mess around. Super fast armory, Hellions on the way out, pulling SCVs as well, and Nerchio seeing this right now. Has got to be a little bit concerned. Going to pull drones away from the natural, cancels the third base. He didn't actually... Oh, Nerchio, he hasn't actually seen the orbital. So if he tries to hold the high ground... This is really bad for him, because if he thinks this is going to be a... okay, he sees the Hellbats, which means he should not think now it's a one-base attack. He should realize that he's going to have to, at some point, defend the natural. Queens are going to push themselves back into this sort of position here. Some lanes are going to start streaming in, just a couple at a time. Obviously, there's no medevac with this or anything, but there's SCVs. The SCVs are meant to repair the Hellbats, but they don't get any repairs at all. And so this attack from INnoVation is really not going to do very much at all. SCVs end up just repairing themselves. A couple of Hellions into the main base now. Lings are chasing though. Nerchio even confident enough to cancel the spines. Great defense. 2 workers lost, but INnoVation even pulled 3 workers across the map to do this. And Nerchio puts himself into a great position after defending here early. Very well played. So good defense again. Pulling the workers out of the natural meant he could kind of pull back heavily with the queens, etc. And that is something that kind of comes into play, as we are going to be seeing a bio follow-up from INnoVation. 2 more barracks, a stim pack on the way down. This was actually really nice by Nerchio. The spine crawlers, just in case he needed them, he could obviously bring them down at a later point. He pulled away to make it difficult for the Hellbats to be repaired by the SCVs, and INnoVation slipping up by allowing those Hellbats to not be repaired was obviously a little bit of a pain. Lair morphing in from Nerchio right now, some extra drones on the way up. We're just going to be seeing that spine crawler also coming down here from Nerchio, setting up into this next stage. More Zergling's going to be coming across here. Nerchio going to be going to see what he can get up to. And a couple of engineering bays coming on down from INnoVation, going to be finishing in the next few moments. Again, extra barracks finishing up. Starport going to finish soon as well. And the factory just going to be building up a reactor. But Nerchio, actually with the lair finishing, he's going to go straight into a Nidus. Now obviously hadn't started the lair when INnoVation came over, but take it as an opportunity to start the lair. And now Nidus on the way, Rotoron building. How many queens has he got? He's got a lot of Zerglings. 5 queens, Zerglings. INnoVation has Marines on the way up. He does have stim pack. There's a small area in the main base that INnoVation doesn't see with anything. My problem for Nerchio is that if there's ever a player who's going to be able to defend something like a Nidus attack without knowing it's coming, it's going to be someone like INnoVation who's just so good on his, thinking on his feet, reacting at the last moment, etc. Let's see whether Nidus actually comes down. Because again, he has this Overlord in the main, which he can throw down. He might throw it down next to the production. That's what he's going to go for. INnoVation obviously will see that, and as he moves his third base out, he is going to expand to the right-hand side rather than where kind of Nerchio's expand, which is where I suggested the normal expansion is going to be. INnoVation doesn't see this. He's not paying attention to his main at all. The Marines are completely out of position, and as the Queens pop out, the Roaches are going to be coming out as well. And INnoVation, well, immediately he's going to be losing his combat shield upgrade. This is tough, because he has to attack up around, well, not really up around, but through these barracks, etc., into this army. It's going to be very difficult. The Queens haven't had to spend any of their transfuses at all onto the Nidus, which means they can just transfuse each other here, keep each other alive, and make life so much more difficult for INnoVation. Ling's trying to stream out of this Nidus network too. It's Nerchio. INnoVation going to mule the Nidus. Wow. Nerchio actually kills 19 SCVs in the end. Some workers going down at the third base as well. Those Zerglings going to pull back in towards the natural expansion. As we're going to be seeing these Lings from Nerchio come back up through the center and looking to see where else they can go. Spinecrawler from Nerchio going to be relocating, and Roaches also looking to see what else they can do. More Zerglings on the way out. I'm just going to be seeing again the armor upgrade about to finish up. And yeah, Marines, Hellbats, Medevacs all joining together. Another siege tank pops out. Yeah, all of these units just from INnoVation thinking about where they want to go to. I mean, again, Nerchio, he killed enough workers maybe to justify this, but you got to remember his disadvantages now. He doesn't have +1/+1. +1 carapace is just starting, so he's behind on tech. He was behind in income for quite a while as well, and that's still actually INnoVation favourite, I guess, as mules drop down in set, maybe Nerchio just transferring workers a few moments there. Either way, it's still very much so about INnoVation right here in this game number 2. You see him pushing forward, so you see a creep tumor at Queen. Another creep tumor and Nova going down as well. The spine crawler also going down. A couple of ravages, just maybe seeing again Marines taking a little bit more damage. But I mean the Roach is just not going to really stand up at all against these tanks. INnoVation keeps dropping the mules, and INnoVation will take game 2 of this free game on the boardwalk, which is actually given us some pretty cool games this event so far. Yesterday we saw a really cool game between... Ooh, who played yesterday on this map? I'm actually just going to check it because it was a cool game. Yeah, Scarlet and Colors played a pretty cool game on this map. That was yesterday. And the day before we actually saw a 25-minute game between Sue and Optimus, and it was really kind of cool. It's kind of because it's this weird sort of thing. I guess we'll introduce the players. Top right hand side of Euronox Gaming's Nerchio. It's playing against the Red Terran to the upper left, INnoVation. But yeah, basically you got one base here, main base, natural. The interesting part about this map is actually in the rush category, but it actually has very easy to hold bases throughout the map. This one down here is very weird, but the idea is there's a very short rush distance up here if there's a little kind of a loop around into, natural to natural basically. So it's kind of a bit strange in that regard, but if you can survive early, and that's what we've been seeing players able to do, if you can survive early, then you can basically just get up to 5 bases. Like, main base, entrance into the natural is a single depot block. Entrance over here, single depot block more or less. Very narrow pathway here, very narrow pathway here. So if you're on top of it, you can stop your opponent ever moving across the map. And if they can never move across the map, then you've got 5 bases. And that's exactly what happened with Sue vs Gumiho. It's a very difficult map to attack on. I like to relate to it like Ulrena. Other people were saying Gettysburg yesterday. They both have similar ideas where maybe Ulrena's was a bit of an extremity, but, the idea of being... I guess this is a bit... The more I look at it, maybe it is a bit more like Gettysburg, where you have that early attack path through the south side with the very narrow pathway, which is sort of like what is at the top here. But then after that, you actually have a very kind of macro-oriented game. However, the fact you only really have 5 bases plus a gold, which is a bit harder to hold, it becomes, one of those games where it's macro-oriented, but you can't just play forever. Because if you just try to play forever, you run into trouble, basically. Because you're going to run out of minerals. So it's kind of interesting, because the game is going to be capped at about 30 minutes, because that's when you're going to be more or less completely mined out. Very interesting stuff. Again, the gold base, I think just worth mentioning as well. As you come out of the main, basically there's this back entrance to the main, which is this boardwalk around this right, bottom, and left side of the map. Each of these sides has a gold base in the corner, which is also blocked by rocks down here. So you can't just run into the opponent's main from the south side early in the game. You have to take down the rocks. That's something we haven't really seen players doing at all just yet. So again, I think a lot left to be discovered on this map as we continue to see it played out. Armory dropping down again from INnoVation, and while it is kind of the 3rd game in a row where we're going to be seeing him going for an Armory early in some sort of maybe Hellbat based build, we've been seeing him go for a variety of Hellbat based builds actually. We haven't really seen him with a single game where it's like, aha, I'm just going to do this build again and again and again. No, it's been a different kind each time. This time it's going to be... Well, I mean, the first time we didn't really get to see the Hellbats so much until much later because of Nerchio's kind of playstyle, but this time Armory coming down from Medevac and Marines. Last game it was a much earlier Hellbat attack with a 3-minute 30-second Armory finishing. So yeah, lots of differences right now. As the Queen poking back those that Medevac already. Obviously, we poke back the Medevac right now. Oh my god, INnoVation loses his Medevac. But that's interesting because now there's no healing at all. Lings are going to jump on the opportunity to do some damage to those Hellbats while they're still morphing. And now the Spine Crawl is going to finish as well. And okay, the Spine Crawl will probably go down here. Is there transfused for it? I don't think so. These Queens are just not on high enough energy. But Nerchio is going to shut this down. Very succinctly. I mean, he really doesn't lose much at all. Keeps all his Queens alive apart from one earlier on. Yeah, I mean, now he's got Transfuse as well. He's going to push this back. INnoVation going to play Bio behind it once more. Stim Pack on the way up. Yeah, I'm interested, actually. I'm interested because Nerchio holds us off very easily again, and so far he's been very good at kind of going for these kind of defensive maneuvers. But then he kind of, I suppose, well, I guess last game he was very good on the defense, but then he kind of slipped it up by going for an aggressive attack that got shut down. So I wonder what his plan is this time around, as you see those Hellions and Hellbats cleaning up a few of these Zerglings. And again, continue to set up here into game number 3. 2-0 for INnoVation. Obviously a 3-0 here would be a nice start to the day for him. Give him some confidence to move through this group without too many issues. Remember, after this, INnoVation will play Snoot in 3 maps, and then we're also going to be seeing Possessed versus Nerchio, Possessed versus INnoVation as our 5th series of the day, and Snoot versus Nerchio will wrap us all up as TvZ to close out Group C of the Map Contest Tournament. Liberator still just moving around through the center. And now we are, again, it's kind of interesting, right? Because we see the early attacks that we can do on this map, but then it turns into a bit more of a macro-focused game. It's weird, it's different. It's intriguing as we're going to be seeing the 1-1 missile upgrades coming through. It's going to be Hydra Bane here from Nerchio, but with missile upgrades, so going to be very heavy on the Hydras. Look at this attack from INnoVation. He actually just made 4 Cyclones. Stim's about to finish. This is not what you'd usually expect to see. He has a few more Hellions/Hellbats as well from earlier. What on earth is this? Cyclones, Marines, SCVs pulled once again. INnoVation is playing some of the weirdest strats I've seen in a little while. Obviously, he plays some pretty crazy stuff against Dark as well. I mean, just an aggressive follow-up to try and catch Nerchio off guard. The Bane Nest isn't ready just yet, and Nerchio may be caught in just a bit too greedy. Bane Nest finishes now. If you can get some Zerglings out, Bane Nest out, maybe it would have been okay, but INnoVation just a follow-up attack to shut this down.